Pastor, what do you think of all these illegals streaming across the border? I'll be honest, I don't really like that term. Why not? They're breaking the law. People break the law all the time. That doesn't make them an illegal person. Right is right and wrong is wrong, Pastor. You should know that. I saw you speeding at least 10 over the other day. Does that make you illegal? Well, that's different. I was on my way to work to provide for my family. That's the same thing a lot of these migrants and asylum seekers are saying. Really? I don't think anyone would walk in 100-degree heat for days on end unless they had a very good reason for doing so. I appreciate that the journey is hard, but why can't they just follow the law? Do you know how legal immigration works on the southern border? I imagine they fill out some paperwork and they just get let in. I was just in El Paso on a young adult border immersion trip, and we learned all about this process. It's actually way more arbitrary and complicated than I originally thought. How does it work? Migrants or asylum seekers have to physically travel to the border, which is incredibly dangerous and expensive, and then they all have to download the CBP-1 app. They fill out their information, and then they wait for an interview with a government official. How many of these interviews happen each day? Just under 1,500. Per entry point? No, across the entire U.S. southern border. And how many people are waiting legally to enter? That's really hard to say. I couldn't find good data on it, but the Border Patrol lists 180,000 encounters. Oh, in March. What? Yeah, last year there were around 2.4 million encounters that the Border Patrol listed. I would say it's safe to assume that most of these individuals tried to enter legally, but were tired of waiting. If there were roughly 1,500 interviews granted per day, that means 530,000 people had the chance to interview last year, out of the 2.4 million, at least, who wanted to enter. 2.4 million? This really is an invasion. I don't really like that term either. Why not? It's dehumanizing. They're not coming to take anything from you. They're coming because this is the least bad option that they have. These migrants and asylum seekers are fleeing from terrible situations, and they dream of a better life in the U.S., just like your ancestors did a few generations ago. Yeah, but my ancestors did it legally. Your ancestors had radically different immigration laws. They were basically all allowed to enter so long as they were from European countries. Your ancestors share the same stories as folks trying to immigrate to the U.S. today. It's just that our policy has radically changed. This is more complicated than I thought. Yes, Christ demands that we act with compassion, though, even in complicated situations, which is why I think it's so important that we seek out border reform in this country so more people can enter this country legally, I guess.